Hi everyone, welcome back to Clock in Talks, and today we are joined by a very special guest. Hi Zoe, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing great. Where are you talking from right now?
I am talking from the beautiful village of Haddenham in the countryside of Buckinghamshire, England.
Oh, that's great. So, let's start the conversation, the main thing. Why not we start it with what were you doing before coaching? Like, what was your career before it?
How far back do you want to go?
From the start.
From the start. Oh, okay. Well, I'd actually trained as a civil engineer and I specialized in water. And that was because I had, since my teenage years, had this crazy vision that I wanted to work overseas. And I thought civil engineering and water engineering, especially, would be a good way to go overseas.
Yeah.
And that did indeed happen. I started off working in the UK for 5 years, but then I ended up working with some NGOs, worked in Albania and um, Liberia, Congo, and Sudan as a water engineer. So that was sort of my first career
Yeah.
and my first sort of chance at implementing visions, because I've always been this crazy visionary that wanted to change the world. So,
Yeah.
I did crazy things like I did the most difficult water engineering projects you could come up with, like building a water engineering system up a mountain in
Oh,
rural Albania where there was no road, and we had to bring the materials in on the back of mules and by army helicopters.
oh,
Just to give you a picture of the kind of
yeah.
crazy that I am.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
that was what I started out doing, and then I kind of pivoted a bit, came back to the UK for a season, ended up working with an international charity, and then went overseas with them, and that's where I ended up working in Egypt for 13 years, and yeah, did a lot of different things there, not straight engineering, but still involved in some community development kind of stuff and different trainings, equippings. And then I moved back to the UK in 2022, and that's when I've sort of been involved in doing a mixture of consulting and coaching. I'd done some coaching internally with the organization I've been with for the last 20 years. That's where I first learned about coaching. I did an internal course on coaching, but then since being back in the UK, I've continued doing consulting with that charity and another charity, and also actually got a diploma in coaching and started really developing coaching, well, recently developing it as a business. So yeah, that's a sort of quick summary of my work experience to date.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that you were engineer before and now you have transitioned into a coach. It's a great journey and it was really nice to hear you. Just tell one thing, like you said that it's been like, if I'm not wrong, 2022 that you started consulting and coaching. So was it a proper planning that you did or you just started it and then see things how things go?
Yeah, I mean, 2022 was when I came back to the UK. Um, and so I started the consulting straight away. But I also was really at a stage in my life where I was thinking, I have implemented a lot of the dreams and visions that I had for my life. What else do I want to do at this point in my life? And that's where I really started to think about what's been meaningful for me. And as well as sort of being this visionary and implementing vision, I would say a big part of my life story has been sort of the inner work and personal growth and kind of overcoming some um, sort of traumatic things that happened in my formative years. And so wanting to bring that kind of learning to other people to extend my impact in the world, not through my own projects, but through helping other people successfully implement their vision to make a difference in the world. That started to be something that I felt would be really meaningful at this point in my life. And so, it wasn't an immediate thing, but as I really thought and explored different options, I actually started out training in the Enneagram. I'd already done training in MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, and I was thinking initially just to offer those tools, and
Yeah.
I do offer those tools. I think they're really helpful tools for personal growth and understanding yourself better and exposing blind spots and understanding why you do what you do. But then I kind of, having trained in Enneagram, I then sort of thought, I don't know if this is everything that I want to do. I think there's more ways that I want to support people. And that's when I really thought about coaching and how much I'd really enjoyed coaching, and when I'd done the training internally with our organization and how useful that skill is. And I thought, I'd like to refine that skill more. So that's when I ended up doing this diploma in transformative coaching and really honing my skills in coaching. So now I have a sort of broader toolkit to offer clients, where I have all of the tools that I've learned through transformative coaching, as well as Enneagram and Myers-Briggs.
Yeah. That's great and even interesting. So, what do you do actually to help people with, and what's your approach in helping people?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm mainly working with people, as I say, who are visionaries themselves. They have a vision,
Yeah.
but maybe, some of them might be starting out and not knowing how to go about it. Some of them might be really experienced leaders, but have got a bit stuck along the way. Maybe they've struggled with burnout or got overwhelmed or feel like they're at a transition point and they're not quite sure what's next. So there's a number of different spaces in which I work with visionaries. And I'm really leaning into the pure coaching approach, having now done this diploma. So a lot of the coaching I've done internally with leaders in our organization has actually been more what we would call blended coaching, which is sort of a mixture of pure coaching and mentoring. But now I tend to lean in much more into pure coaching skills, because I just realize the power of actually just drawing things out of people to help people
Yeah.
make their own discoveries. It's really easy to kind of jump in because you've got a lot of life experience and you know how you would do things, and it's so easy to jump in with your own ideas and think, have you thought about this, what about that? And actually that there can be a place for that, but it's so much more powerful if you can teach people how to do this inner work for themselves, how to unpick where they're getting stuck for themselves, because then you're setting them free to be able to do this
Yeah.
without you, effectively. I think a role of a good coach is to do themselves out of a job. If you've got a coach that wants to stay with you for the rest of your life, then they're probably just in it to make money. A
Yeah.
good coach should be able to equip you to actually move forward, get
Yeah.
unstuck, solve your own problems, and go on with your life. And that's what I love doing. So it's all about the art of holding space, presence, noticing, reflecting back, asking powerful questions. Occasionally, sometimes I will bring in psychological tools if I think that they're helpful. Or the personality testing, sometimes I will offer that if I think that deeper self-awareness is going to help a client. It's always optional. It's something that we discuss when we're contracting how we're going to work together, whether that's something that would be helpful or not for them. But yeah, it's mainly just a pure coaching approach that I'm taking.
That's great. So, you mentioned that you mainly help people to reach their vision and goals and get rid of all the problems they are facing in between. So there's one thing like, if I have a goal or vision and I'm facing a problem, I can just, it will take me just 1 minute to type that problem and get the answer from AI. So how's that different from getting to a coach to help to reach the vision versus reaching to AI? What's the difference in that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes AI can be all that you need.
Yeah,
I think AI is a very powerful tool, and sometimes just having a brainstorming session with AI can get you unstuck and you can move forward again.
yeah,
But I think where a coach is helpful is if there's kind of deeper underlying things that are getting you stuck. I think the blind spots. I think transformation is very powerful when it's human to human, because AI can't offer that deep empathy, that deep noticing of what's really going on with the body language of a client, even just being able to say, yeah, me too, I understand that. When you've had a life experience that resonates with the client, that can really normalize what's going on for the client. AI can never share its life experience. It hasn't had life experience.
Yeah,
There's something deeply transformational about just being seen by another human being in a struggle that you have. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Brené Brown, but she's this researcher that's done a lot of work around shame, which is a real deep-rooted thing that a lot of
yeah,
people struggle with and don't want to admit, and that can be part of what's tripping them up and causing them to get stuck. And she always talks about how shame can't exist where there's empathy. When there's another human being come alongside you saying me too, that just dissipates the shame, and the AI can't do that kind of
yeah,
thing. So that sort of relational aspect where you're doing deeper inner work, I think needs the presence of a human being in the space. But for sure, AI is a powerful tool. I use it a lot, and for brainstorming, for just asking different questions to help you think things through, to being a thinking partner. In general terms, it has its uses, but I think there's still a real space out there for human beings as well in the coaching world.
yeah. We all can agree that AI has been the greatest invention, one of the greatest invention for human. Like, but I've thought of one thing, like I read a quote, like the more we are exposed to the AI and technology stuff, the more humans crave for the real natural connections with humans. What do you think of
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I 100% agree with that. And I think if you look at the explosion of mental health problems
Yeah,
that there are these days, particularly among the younger generations, I am convinced that that's not a coincidence that that's coming alongside the generation that's just grown up on the internet, on their phones all the time,
yeah,
social media. We've got to learn. We're wired. Again, Brené Brown says we're wired for love and connection. We're wired for human relationships. And even, I spend so much of my life, because I work internationally, talking to people like we are right now
mm,
over,
yeah,
video calls. And it's amazing. It's great that we can talk in these ways, but even video calls is not the
yeah,
same as being in the same room with somebody.
yeah.
It's a sort of counterfeit of that real human to human connection that we're all wired to need. So yes, I absolutely think that that's true.
Yeah, and even I feel that video calls are not enough. So in a long term, I am also planning to build an office. But the thing is, I work with clients globally, so that we will, get rid of that problem one day too. But you
Yeah.
explained it really well that humans are meant for this connection. We are social animals. We are there to
Yes.
socialize, build connections, and that's really great part. So now we let's move more towards your coaching as a business. So what's your main traffic source right now? Like in the sense like you get 20% from your connections that as referrals, then something from social media or some other thing. Give me that percentage wise.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know about percentages, but yeah, I mean, because as I say, I was doing coaching internally in our organization that didn't have any need for marketing. um, so it's been quite recently that I've actually been needing to sort of get out there and find clients, so to speak. And a lot of the clients I have found so far have just been through my own existing networks. I have different connections, friends, colleagues who've referred people to me, a little bit posting on some Facebook groups and things, but not so much through that route. But I would like to focus on sort of speaking opportunities, workshops, in-person networking, referrals, organic growth as much as I can. But I do recognize that having an online presence
Yeah,
is important as well, but I'm a little bit undecided as to how much I'm gonna focus on that in my business. Part of my issue is that I'm not full-time in my business, well, in my coaching business, I'm still, more of my time is on consulting than it is on coaching. So I don't have so much time to be doing all the marketing and coaching as well. So I'm still figuring these things out. I've only very recently, for example, set up my profile on LinkedIn, which everybody tells me is a good place to be if
Yeah.
you want to get coaching clients. So I'm just starting out, sort of trying to build up my LinkedIn network. I've developed my website. So yeah, we'll see how much traffic ends up coming through online spaces. But yeah, so far it's been a lot through my existing networks and connections.
Yeah. There was a question that when you were telling about your approach, I held that question with me that take some time, ask it. So, like you help people to reach their vision, basically. Am I right?
Well, help them to help themselves. I can't solve all of their problems. I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to be a thinking partner with them to help them understand where they've got stuck and to find their own solutions. Some clients can get unstuck really quickly. It doesn't take very much. Others, it takes a few more sessions to really make progress and dig a bit deeper. It depends what the problems are. But I would say more than, it's not so much me helping them, but it's me helping them to help themselves figure things out.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it for them. I'm trying to empower them to do it for themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you a bit of personal question. What's your vision for your coaching business?
Well, my vision for my coaching business, I think, as I said earlier, is that I've always had this motivation to want to make the world a better place, to want to help people, to want to do good in the world. That's what drives me. That's why I've done humanitarian work and charitable work and non-profit sector work most of my life. And I want to sort of multiply my impact through other people that carry that same passion. And I know from my own experience, how important it is to keep doing the inner work to support your visionary endeavors, because so many people in those kind of spaces do end up getting overwhelmed or burnt out or having problems. And so I want to sort of share through the coaching work my own kind of life experience of, hey, this is what's really helped support me as a visionary to do what I've done, and to try and draw that out for other people so that they have that balance. It's a balance between the inner work and the outer expression of things. You need
Yeah,
both. You need to make space for both. It's very easy to get unbalanced and to be all out there and then sort of burn out for that, or to become very introspective and never actually get on and do anything. And you need both. And so to help clients be able to do both, and I feel then I'm multiplying my impact. I can do far more through helping lots of other visionaries implement their vision than I can just by focusing on me doing more of my own things. So that's my real dream. I want to still be impacting the world, but through helping others to do their thing, whatever that looks like. It doesn't all need to be crazy international projects like I've done. It can be little community projects where they live. It can be anything. Dreams and visions can be any size. But if we all show up in the world the best version of ourselves and do the things that we were really created to do in ways that are aligned with the way that we are uniquely wired, I think the world would be a better place.
yeah,
I really do. I think so many people are struggling away through sheer grit and determination and willpower because they need to do this job or they need to do whatever, they need to pay the bills. But if you can just breathe and step back and do the inner work and dare to dream a bit bigger, I think the world would be a better place.
yeah, indeed. So it was really interesting, and you are a really interesting person, and it was really great talking to you. But we have limited on time. We are at the end of this podcast. But before it, I want to ask you what's that key advice you want to give to the audience, and where can they find you?
Hmm. Key advice, well, I guess what I've just said would be pretty close to my key advice. It would be to not give up on your dreams, but not give up on the inner work either, to realize that there's a space for both. I think so many people get stuck in one or stuck in the other, or ignore both and just sort of live a small life because they don't want the stress or the
Yeah,
growth. There's a effort that's required for growth, whether it's growth to step out and take courage to pursue your dreams, or whether it's growth to do the inner work to get unstuck and find out what's driving you and understand your blind spots. Both of those are uncomfortable growth, but they are the things that really then make life so much more meaningful. So it's like, don't give up pushing through that pain of growth, whatever stage of life you're in. I just believe that there's always more, and having that growth mindset and seeing all of your successes, all of your failures in inverted commas, they're all what shape you. They're all growth opportunities, and having that growth mindset and pushing in for growth, I think that would be one of the things I stand for.
Yeah, really great. And one thing I must say that I don't know, I'm really not that good in English, but you really have great thoughts, and the message you gave was really nice. Again, thanks a lot for coming and just having the time. Thanks a lot.